everybody that's out there listening to the 6th episode of This Is Why I Drink. I got Big Shah back with me. He's double dipping right now. I called him out on not being too big on the cognac last time, so he's double dipping now. He's chasing it with some Coors Light. He's like, I got this. So welcome back, Shah. Appreciate you being here. You loosened up?
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you good?
Loose.
Loose?
Yes, sir.
I don't ever want to hear you say that again.
My bad. Pause.
And then CJ, who brought an insanely great point to the conversation piece during the last episode. Welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you here.
Yes, sir. Always good to be here.
Absolutely. And CJ is loving the cognac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I too?
No. Oh my God, no. No, he's not doing that one right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, and can I tell you what CJ said to me when I asked him what he thought about cognac?
What'd he say?
I said, so what do you think about, are you a cognac guy? And he said, man, as long as it's dark, laugh out loud. I said, why's it got to be a dark thing? I thought it fit really well with what we're talking about, so there you go.
Right.
There you go. But no, I do have to give you guys, and I appreciate you again being here more than you can even understand. I do have to give you a little bit of shit, especially you, Shah.
Why is that?
Because of a little bit of lackluster communication with confirming us getting together this time. And when I say a little bit, I thought you were dead for 2 days.
Man, I had a busy weekend.
I know, literally. I have to give you hell because it takes all of 10 seconds to say
right.
We're good.
You're right.
I got to give you a hard time. Dude, bro, your communication was sucking harder than a midget trying to pay her way through college with blowjobs. It was that bad.
That's crazy.
It was bad. It was terrifying. And no, that is not the beer talking. I actually came up with that one completely on my own. So, anyway, everybody, welcome back. This is Jeremy, Shah, and CJ, and welcome back to This Is Why I Drink. Cheers, guys. Good to have you back. All right, now, like I said, in episode 5, we went after the fact that CJ brought a point to the table that I hadn't ever really considered or heard before, and it was that slavery was a choice, and we went round and round about it. You all right?
Yeah.
All right. And it was great. I mean, it's something, again, that I can tell CJ you feel very, very passionate about. And there were times where literally you could see yourself sitting there just flexing over and over and over again. And I believe that everything starts with choice. Okay? Choice then gets expounded and expanded, whichever term you want to use, from understanding and awareness. And so that's what I want to start us off with now on this one, is that we talked about it being a choice. Now I want to talk about the self-awareness and accountability of being able to change your paradigm to improve your choice in that regard. Because we keep talking about racism. Okay, well, that term only stays what society has made it if we don't ever sit there and look ourselves in the mirror and take those 3 character traits that we talked about from day one into account, which is humility, self-awareness, and personal accountability without justification. You don't say, well, this is what I've been through. Yeah, okay, I want to hear what you've been through. Just stop. Don't use it over and over and over and over again to the point that it becomes a crutch. Does that make sense? Well, and Shah, I wanted to throw it to you to say we've talked a lot. You, on the very first time you guys were here, brought up how you used to hate cops. Okay, you brought up your TSA experiences. And I want to hear from you how taking accountability for yourself and becoming more aware changed all of that for you.
To me, it was just, I had a very closed mindset. And as soon as I mean, like we've talked about in the past, it's just you have to have an open mindset and be willing to converse rather than argue. You
True.
know what I mean? Most people nowadays go into conversations knowing they're going to lead it into an argument.
Yeah, fact. That's
you know what I mean?
absolutely
Like,
true.
And some people just love to argue, like.
Yeah. And I mean, it's okay. I mean, I love to argue and I love to be right, but
I hate arguing.
to me, it comes with maturity. I think, you know, like the people you surround yourself with plays a huge factor in that too.
Agreed.
And I just feel like I was mature enough to start actually listening to people instead of just hearing them.
Okay.
And that, like I said, I love cops now.
Yeah.
And I have a whole different perspective on it.
Now, what has that done for you, though? What has it changed for you? I want to hear how the awareness of self, to know that you were intentionally going into these encounters looking for essentially confrontation. Let's call a spade a spade. When anybody goes into a conversation with somebody of different ethnicity, different gender, whatever, and says that I know I'm probably going to get into an argument, you're looking for confrontation. You can't say, well, I know it's probably going to happen. Forgive me, you fucking want it to happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't even cross your mind. So tell me how that has changed things for you.
Well, to me, I've built friendships and relationships. Like with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you used to come into the gym, and I used to just call you random ass names. Like,
Larry,
yeah.
Jeff.
Like, you look like a Larry, you know?
Yeah.
And now we're on this podcast right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And to me, it's just you got to be willing to understand that not everyone is racist, you know? And
he smiled when he said that. I don't know.
It's simple things. It's funny because it's so simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's not everyone's racist, and to me, I've built friendships, and a lot of people are missing out on like business moves and lots of other things. Like, I had to use the color, but I have a lot of white people that I'm cool with now that I have business relationships with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that would have never happened if I didn't have an open mindset.
Absolutely agree.
It's domino effect.
Yeah, if you are willing to sit there and realize, hey, I'm not always right. I don't need to argue with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into a scenario with a mindset of wanting to learn and connect versus put your foot down and automatically just have to prove that you're right. It's insane. Like, okay, for instance, this is a topic that will be discussed further down the road when it comes to, say, relationships with ladies. I can't tell you how many times I've engaged in a conversation trying to get to know somebody, and one, they hear how I sound, they see, the bald head and the beard and all that, and apparently, like I've joked before, I guess I look like a fucking Nazi propaganda poster or something. Seriously. I'm not kidding though, because they love the deep voice, and then all of a sudden what I hear after a little bit is, would you just have like really aggressive points, and and you're like, I can tell you like to be right. What they're looking for when they say stupid shit like that is they're looking for me to go, no, I don't. No, I'm not. And they're looking for me to get
that
pissed.
reaction. Yeah,
they're poking the bear to see if I'm gonna basically roar at them, and then they get to play the victim. Well, if you look at it from a perspective of ethnicity and or racism, it's the same tactic.
That happens all. Yeah,
it's the same tactic,
and the same people fall for it.
Exactly. Every fucking
every
time.
single time
And
they fall for it.
I used to be that person.
Yeah.
And when that changed, like I said, I used to be at rock bottom, and now, you know what I mean, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know what I mean?
After I got to know you, I was so tempted to buy you this giant hookah tower. I'm kidding.
No, but I
had
to go off like what CJ said in the last episode, and we're kind of talking about excuses, like the cards you're dealt.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with somebody earlier. Father figures, you know what I mean? A lot of people I've seen, I have friends with without father figures, and they're totally different people.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, you can use that as an excuse for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't use that for the
After a
rest of your
certain
life.
point, like, it's on you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's a good point. Oh, I don't want to cut you
Well,
off.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, that carries on to life itself, and specifically into these conversations we're trying to have.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my best friend doesn't have a father figure, and he's about to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was born in New Orleans. You know, single mother. You know what I mean?
Shout out to you. I already know who you're talking about.
You know, and he high school dropout, went to community college, got a 4.0, went to Emory. Now he's about to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And on the other hand, I know people without father figures, and they're in a totally different place. So how is that possible?
Yeah.
You know, you're dealt hands, you're dealt cards, and you know how
Just
are you
make the
going
right
to play
moves.
it?
Yeah.
Too much cognac and chasing. Okay.
No, but seriously though, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it just
That's real. And
excuses.
Yeah. 100%. Go ahead, CJ. I know you got something.
I just forgot what I was about to say.
I apologize.
What were you talking about before you talking about the homie?
Just that.
Just excuses.
Excuse. Oh yeah.
Cards you dealt
just to
and
bring
excuses.
that. Yeah, just to bring that up. I think, and I've fell victim to that right now. As far as one of my favorite motivational speakers is Eric Thomas. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him, but I love that dude. And he talks about how like like a lot of us have been knocked down before, whether it's for our own reasoning or just outside reasoning. But he's like, if you're still down after 2 damn years, that's your damn problem. If you're still down after 5 years, 6 years, and I find myself sometimes, and I'm just speaking off personal experiences because,
Go ahead.
I don't like throwing other people out there and stuff like that. But just like with me, I think people accept that more when you talk about yourself sometimes. So
Absolutely.
with me, especially after all the shit I just said in the last episode. So with me, like I find myself, you know, calling victim and saying that I'm a victim of this and that, and just laying on the floor and just laying down and keep using the same excuse and not getting myself back up.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we do that a lot in this world. And, you know, at some point you gotta make that choice. Are you going to stay in it or are you going to get yourself out of it?
Absolutely. 100% agree. And that's it. That's everything it boils down to. Because I don't give a damn if we're talking about racism, religious persecution, sexism, whatever. Ultimately, every single thing boils down to humility. Because you can't have self-awareness and personal accountability if you're not humble. If you're just consumed with self-sabotaging pride, you're never going to see the other two.
Yeah.
Okay. If you aren't, once you become humble, if you don't look yourself in the mirror and say, damn, I do these things. Holy shit. And don't beat yourself up about it. Just recognize it.
Exactly. Yep.
Just look at it and say, shit, they're right. And then number 3, personal accountability without justification, because that justification automatically negates the first 2. As soon as you justify it, that's pride kicking back in. Once you say, yeah, you know, I do these things, but you know, I do these things, you know, it's it's because though, you know, or it's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. Once you start that justifying process, then all you're doing is completely starting over.
Exactly.
Now, do you have to do that mentally at times? Yes, I agree 100% that sometimes you have to reset mentally after you catch yourself in the justification. What I'm saying is, don't keep doing that. Don't put the action of justification out there. Don't verbalize it. Once you start doing that, you're screwed. If you recognize you're doing it, then go, shit, okay, reset. That's fine. I have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about the cards you're dealt, I mean, have I always been an insanely amazing, great, upstanding guy? No. Am I currently? Probably not. I'm still working. I have a lot of stuff to continuously fix myself. That's part of becoming who you're supposed to be. Now, with that being said, it's funny because I'm not justifying all of my shortcomings. What I'm saying is, in the process of becoming, there were a lot of times where I built, like CJ said, a lot of momentum. I started playing the cards right.
Exactly.
Then I started getting a little too high on myself.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this with my bet instead of understanding the systematic approach that I needed.
Yeah.
And I screwed myself. Because I thought I couldn't be taken down. I was too big for my britches, so on and so forth. And that's not true. You're never too big to be taken down. Shit, even Jeff Bezos
lost me. I don't know who that is. I'm not gonna lie.
He's the founder and CEO of Amazon, buddy.
See,
There you
a lot of
go.
things I don't know.
There you go. He
Thank
flat out said when somebody asked him, do you think Amazon is too big to fail? He said, absolutely not. I fully expect Amazon to fail at some point. And his whole thing was that the moment we stop focusing on our customers and we start focusing on ourselves too much is the day Amazon will fail.
Wow, that's crazy. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to my business. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole point is, as we were getting into, Shah, I appreciate you saying that. Now, CJ, we took a little detour right there, but tell me, were there any moments in your life where you wanted to sit there and play the victim, put this wall up and act like, Whitey's going to get me? I don't care, whatever, or friggin'
Well, I never had the
hummus is going to get me. He actually said it. Yeah. Hummus is going to get me. No, were there moments where you played the pity party, and then once it shifted, how did it improve?
Yeah, never. I never done it in the way of the whole white versus black thing. I never blamed. I think it's a more system versus the people, and that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So I never looked at it that way. But as far as like I was talking about with my business and stuff, there was things that I was doing to get me just more independent. Financially independent.
Yeah.
And I got to that place. I was able to have everything on my own and paying everything on my own and stuff like that. And then what's that Amazon
Jeff
guy?
Bezos.
Okay, so when him talking about that, he started focusing more on himself rather than the customers and what got him there. He's just started to slip up, and that was the same thing that happened to me. And then there was another certain situation that had happened within my family, and I just started blaming that a lot. And I had to tell myself, it's like, dude, for one, you made that decision, and for two, you just can't sit in that pity shit forever. Like, you can't sit there forever and lay down forever. And if you do, that's on you.
Yeah.
And I even look back on when I went to college to go play basketball my freshman year. A lot of shit was going bad, and it wasn't. I was told that I was going to be this and this for the college, on the team, all this other stuff. I was going to be the guy, this, that, and the other. Got hurt and tore ligaments in my thumb, so I was out for like 2 months or something like that, and wasn't working on my game, stuff like that. And then I got word that when I came home for, I believe it was Thanksgiving, my grandma got diagnosed with cancer. And so when that stuff had happened, just stuff started tumbling. So then my grades got bad. So everything started, I was able to blame my injury on why I wasn't working on my game.
Yep.
My grandmother on, again, why I wasn't working on my game. And then because of those things, my grades slipped. So then I wasn't able to play the second half of the season.
Yeah.
And so with all that stuff, it's just like, you can't keep blaming things that are happening in your life for what you're going through. And everybody wants to say, I hate when people say the whole everything happens for a reason. Yeah, motherfucker, because the shit that you did in the past, everybody wants to look at the future. Oh, it's gonna work out. This happened because such and such and it's gonna play out this way. No, you're right. Everything happens for a reason, and that reason was because you didn't handle your shit in the past, and that's why you got here.
Yeah.
So
it's a snowball effect. I mean, when people say karma, I do believe that if you constantly put negative energy out there, if you constantly screw people over, if you constantly do those things, then at some point, no matter how big you are financially, no matter how, good looking you are as a dude, no matter how hot you are as a chick, no matter how good you are at talking, at some point, it's going to come crashing down. And the bigger you get prior to that moment, the bigger the fall. I mean, 100% the bigger the fall. Because when people sit there and try to talk about, oh, but, I've done some bad things, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't happened yet. I'm like, well, then just, you better squat more, because when your ass hits the ground, it's going to hurt if you don't have some fucking padding.
Yeah.
Seriously. And that's why I have no problem saying there are times where I've been a god-awful human being, and I've had to fix it. Bringing that back to our discussion about racism, when people want to try to put every single thing that has happened to them on a different ethnicity, then all you're doing is continuing the problem. And when we're talking about accountability, I wanted to get into simple, practical ways of being able to start changing the tide a little bit. Like down in Oak Cliff, I mean, we constantly see gentrification projects going on in Dallas.
Man, don't get me started on that.
No, where we see those projects going on in Dallas where you've got the Bishop Arts District coming up and it's looking better and better and better. And then literally, I'm not kidding, you go 2-3 blocks further south and you feel like you're in a 2001 Cash Money Millionaires video. I'm talking shower caps and oversized SpongeBob t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So my point is, in that scenario, the mindset is, well, this is Oak Cliff. This is the ghetto. That's just how it's always been. Instead of, like you said in episode number 4, we can't have excellence in the ghetto.
Yeah.
When
we believe that. And we believe excellence lives outside of our community.
Yeah. Once you start making money, you get the hell out. Kind of thing. Instead of people that, like, if say your household income is 50, 60 grand, or okay, say it's 40, whatever the case may be. Well, yeah, you're on assistance because you got to have a place to live. Just because you're on assistance doesn't mean you can't keep your apartment clean. It doesn't mean you can't keep your yard picked up. You know, it literally simple things. Now, I've had this conversation with somebody recently who tried to talk to me and say, well, but you know, that's a long putt. That was the phrase that was used, is that's a long putt to get them to see the incentive. Well, the incentive is not living in fucking filth.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. The incentive is actually taking care of what is in front of you. Why would you want to sit there and why would you be proud of being downtrodden? Why would you be proud of not working to improve? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
In that regard?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that makes sense. And one shout out to my homie Shah, because we were talking about this, and he says if you can't take care of what you have now, what makes you think you're going to be able to, when something else better comes your way, what makes you think you're going to be able to take care of that?
Exactly.
So, and that's
it's the
a big
same
point
thing.
of what you're saying.
Exactly. So when they talk about, well, what's the incentive? What's the incentive? What's the incentive? The incentive should be your present life right now is to set up the future of generations of your family. Like what we're doing here, not to get overly political by any stretch, if you look at the presidential landscape, okay, for a set period of time, we had less and less and less identity entitlement, okay? And identity entitlement could be LGBTQ, it could be ethnicity, whatever, okay? We had less and less identity entitlement, and then as we have fewer issues with racism in society, as we have fewer riots, we have fewer this, we have fewer that, all of a sudden somebody else gets elected into office that starts stirring the pot in the country, and all the people that went through the civil rights movement that are still alive, all the people that dealt with the Jim Crow stuff that are still alive, all of those hateful feelings start rising up, and then as a society, we're fucked. Literally. We are in a position where they bring all of those things back up, and then the people that went through it, instead of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, all of that anger comes back up, and then the new younger generation is screwed. Why do you think I'm talking to you guys? I'm significantly older than you.
Yeah.
Okay. If I don't start trying to talk to the younger generation about common sense ways of getting away from this, the younger generation isn't going to be able to carry that through. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
So that's why I'm saying it's just accountability. It shouldn't matter if you live in a 1-bed, 1-bath with 4 people. That is the hand you're dealt right now. That is the lane you are currently in. Take care of it, treat it to the best of your ability, so then when your lane grows, guess what? Still have the character traits of being in a smaller lane. And be grateful that your lane is bigger. Don't start trying to act like you're bigger than... Don't start trying to act like you're bigger than you are just because your lane grew. Some of the best people I know are worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. And when they go out to have drinks and whatnot, they're in fucking gym clothes. Because of the fact that they never changed once money came.
Yeah.
If you allow affluence and status to change you, well, then that means you still don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah. And that was...
It doesn't matter what color you are.
That's one thing that I fell victim to when everything started going right in my life.
Yeah.
Everything I started...
Mm-hmm. Same.
Well, I've done it too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to learn it as well. That's what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what color you are. We're all human beings that do the same stupid shit. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm constantly saying, I don't care if it's the ghetto. I don't care if it's fucking Highland Park Village. Take care of it. And whatever you have presently, take care of it.
And you're not always going to play each hand correctly.
Yeah.
You got to understand that, you know, there's going to be some hands that, you know, go the wrong way.
Yeah.
But you got to bounce back.
You got to bounce back.
You can't stay in that. You got to understand that you can get out of that rock bottom.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the issue. Most people.
If it takes getting a part-time job,
yeah,
because say shit hit the fan financially and you made some bad choices,
that's crazy,
then get a part-time job.
Yeah.
Okay, just fucking suck it up. Work another 20, 30 hours out of the week. Okay, stop trying to go out.
Yeah.
Work more. You know, if your girl leaves you, whatever the case may be, if your dude leaves you in those situations, okay, hang out with Fistina. I know it's a terrible joke. That means your hand, by the way. Shaw's looking at me like I have no idea.
No, that's a good ass point.
Seriously.
I mean, I was rock bottom a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I got a job at 24.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It happens.
Talking to an AGM now, by the way.
Exactly. Seriously, like, I played some of the cards I was dealt. They went the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I mean, a year and a half later, I'm glad I did it the way I did it.
I believe that everybody has to hit their own version of rock bottom.
Yeah.
I 100% believe that. Now, if you've never been in a position personally, and if rock bottom doesn't mean financially for everybody. Rock bottom can mean, man, I keep screwing up every relationship I'm involved in. Rock bottom can mean my attitude is shit and people don't like being around me. My rock bottom can be financially. It could be a lot of different things. Again, over and over and over again, I don't give a damn what color you are. I don't care where you're from. Humility, self-awareness, personal accountability without justification. Because like we talked about in episode 4 before I went off a little bit and had CJ explain his point of view on slavery to us, is if we want places like the ghetto, the barrio, so on and so forth, to stop being those places, the only way we're going to change that is if the people in those areas start taking accountability for themselves. Now, are they probably going to have a push? Yeah, because their mindset right now is still so stuck that if I was to look at them and say this to them, they're not going to get it. Are they going to need a push?
Are we going to get more into that on the net? Or
we'll talk. Okay. They're going to need a push. I don't want to toot my own horn in certain aspects, so I don't think that that's a good idea. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want to sit there and talk about ideas that I have, because I don't want to sit there and sound like,
not necessarily the idea. I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying, talk about the issues within that.
Sure. We'll discuss it.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, good.
I think he drank too much cognac. I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, we've gone beyond the structure of getting to the definition, so on and so forth. And we know the definition of racism. We know that the definition of racism has absolutely nothing to do with your skin color. We know that constantly just leaning on it as an excuse is bullshit, okay? Because we're at a point in society where the color of your skin, other than living, because forgive me, the trailer park is the trailer park for a reason. The barrio's the barrio for a reason. The ghetto's the ghetto for a reason. Okay, and they're that way because of a an ingrained mindset of, well, this is all we know. This is all we've ever known. We're never going to get out of it. Okay, well, if that neighborhood is all you've ever known, I get that. Clean the fucker up. Because when you look at places again like Oak Cliff, there's no reason for a lot of that to be as wrecked as it is, other than people just not wanting to change it. Yes and no. Shaw, you disagree?
I mean, as we've talked about in the former episode, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
You know, he tried to change it, and look what his own people did to him.
Don't get me started on conspiracy theories.
I mean,
seriously though, I'm not kidding on that note.
I mean, he really tried to change, like you said, and his own people got him.
I think it's a two-way street.
Okay, continue.
And that's what I'm talking. Are we going to get more in depth in it right now, or a later episode, or how do you want? Well, not necessarily the conspiracy, but just as far as getting the ghetto out of the ghetto.
I'll tell you what. On the next one, I'm gonna let you two have a free for all on that.
Oh, okay.
How's that sound?
Okay.
No, not arguments, because that's not
No,
why.
right.
Part of the reason that I believe what we're doing is so. I hate the word revolutionary. Is so uncommon is because we're approaching it with a level of respect, because we all want to see things improve nationwide. It's not I'm in this to make money and be selfish. Mm-hmm. It's I'm here because I believe we can actually make some shit happen. Thoughts?
No.
Agreed?
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, okay. So on the next one, I'm going to introduce us, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there and say, guys, we've covered a lot on this. As CJ has already said, layers upon layers.
Okay, cool.
Okay? And do I want to necessarily run this for like another month and a half? I'd like to just lay out some ideas that we can actually use, and then start diving into other stuff. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
All right. That's why we're here, though. You can't find a solution if you, one, don't recognize the problem, and then two, get real about potential speed bumps without focusing on them. If you focus on the speed bumps, you're never going to find the positive solution. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because how many times do you guys sit there and say, man, I want to do this, but this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. So fucking what? Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Start. Like I said in episode 4. Start.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. All right? So, gentlemen, it's been fun. Shaw, you doing better with the beer over there?
Yeah, I think
For
that was
tonight?
his. Yeah, that was
Game changer?
As you can tell.
Yeah.
As you can tell.
That's
my
awesome.
man right there.
I'm a beer guy now.
Yeah, I'm a beer guy. I'm a Coors Light and Lime guy now. All right.
Shout out Wakas.
Guys, seriously, I can't, again, constantly express how much this means to me to have you here and literally say, hey, I think that we're not only onto something, I think that if we put our minds together, we can actually come up with some shit that could start changing stuff. So, folks, whoever listened to all these ramblings and the massive level of no structure, I appreciate it. And this is why I drink. Thank you.